Okay, there is a renewed war against abortion, and there is a very specific reason why. I told you about this. I told you that this would happen as soon as Donald Trump got his first selection to the Supreme Court. And it was renewed even more strongly as soon as Donald Trump got his second selection to the Supreme Court, Brett Kavanaugh. The religious right, the social conservatives, the anti-choice activists, they have seized upon the reality, and it is a reality, that they have a potential opportunity here with this Supreme Court to undo decades of progress on abortion rights, also known as medical rights, also known as women's rights, also known as legal medical procedures. And the reason that they've correctly identified that this is an opportunity unlike one that they've had in a long time is that we now have, thanks to the election of Donald Trump, one of the most conservative Supreme Courts in a long time. Now, remember, there were some people, I'm not going to name names because that's not productive, but there were people who in 2015 and in 2016, in the lead up to the 2016 election, were saying, I don't care if it's Trump or Hillary. Hillary is a centrist Democrat. You might as well elect Trump. It's not going to be any different. Well, Exhibit A as to why that's laughably absurd and malignantly ignorant is the Supreme Court, which now will have an influence on American political society and society beyond just politics for decades, is Exhibit A. And the abortion battle, the renewed abortion battle, is one of the great examples of that, which gets us to, I mean, this is all just contextualizing for you, that we now have had votes from the Alabama House of Representatives and yesterday from the Alabama Senate approving a measure to outlaw abortion in Alabama. This would outlaw almost every abortion in the state. It would ban abortions at all points in time in pregnancy. It would criminalize doctors performing abortions with felonies and up to 99 years in prison. No exceptions for cases of rape. No exceptions for cases of incest. This is a dark ages law. And it includes just one exception for when the woman's life is at risk. So this is meant to be a direct challenge to Roe v. Wade at the Supreme Court level if things go the way they want. Now, you might say, why is this happening in Alabama? Well, yes, I mean, Alabama is a more socially conservative and religious state in the sense that they want to punish gays and abortions, which are popular priorities for the religious right in the United States right now. And of course, it's happening in a state that is a disaster. I'm not insulting the people. What I'm telling you is that Alabama has serious problems to fix. And what they're choosing to do is to outlaw basically every abortion. The college graduation rate is extraordinarily low in Alabama. They are dead last. They are 50th in education in Alabama. They are 46th in healthcare. Their economy is 45th out of 50 in the United States. Opportunity is 45th out of 50 in the United States. Crime is 45th out of 50th in the United States. Infrastructure is 38th. And so what do? They say, let's ban all abortions. So let's break it down one step at a time. Is this bill likely to become the law? Yes, sort of, but probably not immediately. What I mean by that is that it's been passed by the House of Representatives in the House in Alabama. It's been passed by the Senate. It's believed that Alabama's Governor Kay Ivey, obviously a Republican, is going to sign it, although Governor Ivey's office has not yet, at least as of 5 minutes ago, put out a statement one way or the other. But there's the expectation that Kay Ivey is going to sign it. So it sounds like it'll become the law, right? Well, not so fast. This is part of the long-term anti-abortion strategy. More than likely, if and when the governor signs this into law, there will immediately be a lawsuit filed demanding an injunction. And the idea here is to try to get that case all the way up to the Supreme Court in order to try to federally challenge abortion. The way it will go is Kay Ivey signs it into law. It's immediately challenged in federal court. And more than likely, because this is such an extreme piece of legislation, the first court that will hear the appeal may likely block the law. Okay, a lot of legal experts are saying that first court is likely to block the law. And that's the whole point of this for the anti-choice activists who want to have it blocked or expect it to be blocked at the first court challenge. They will then appeal the law, ideally all the way up to the Supreme Court, at which point Brett Kavanaugh's replacement of centrist Justice Anthony Kennedy could be the difference maker in allowing a major precedent-setting anti-abortion decision by the Supreme Court. So I've got to hand it to them, okay? I think these people are disgusting. I think their priorities are backwards. They are dead last in education in Alabama. They are, I gave you the list already. I truly find these to be despicable people with all of the wrong priorities. But they're pretty clever. And they knew. I mean, when Mitch McConnell participated in obstructing Barack Obama's selection of Merrick Garland to the court, that was step one of this long-term strategy. And so we've got to praise the right. I mean, we've got to recognize good strategy. They were able to have a multi-year plan. Okay, it was a year before the 2016 election, and McConnell starts with, well, we should really let the voters have a say before we decide who's going to be on the Supreme Court potentially for decades. That stretched into the 2016 election. And then Trump got his replacement. And then they negotiated a departure for Anthony Kennedy under potentially nebulous circumstances. And then in comes Brett Kavanaugh. And then they start with the state level stuff. And I mean, they're better than us. They're better than us. That's the reality. We have to understand that they are better than us. And we're only going to do better than them if we accept how good they actually are and figure out how to fight against this stuff. So we'll see what happens. This could be the beginning of significant precedent-setting abortion-related rulings by one of the most conservative Supreme Courts in a long time, which, if that happens, the next part of the strategy is immediately that Supreme Court decision, which may stem from an appeal from this Alabama law or the one recently moving forward in Georgia, then multiple states will pass similar laws to this one, and it would be a massive rollback of abortion rights. And if you're surprised by this, if you're appalled by this, this is exactly what we knew their plan was as soon as they realized that Donald Trump had the opportunity of putting more conservative justices on the Supreme Court. And once again, it's already almost 2020. If Trump wins, he likely will get at least one more pick to the Supreme Court. Yet another reason we got to get rid of this guy, and we got to get rid of this guy right away. Let me know what you think. You can follow me on Instagram at david.pakman. Also follow The David Pakman Show on Instagram at David Pakman Show. Polls, behind-the-scenes pictures, opportunities for you to ask me questions, all of that great stuff. We'll take a quick break. Part 2 of my interview with the great Cal Newport is coming up next.